Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome, everybody. We have some participants already. Thank you guys so much for joining us. There is a chat function, so please, wherever you are joining us from, please drop that in the chat. But we are very, very excited to bring to you today your free business health check. So we'll be speaking on a number of topics to whip your business in shape. We'll be talking about Booksy. We'll be talking about taxes. We will talk about running a business and what you need to do in order to have a successful business. And then we'll also be talking about the non-negotiable insurance. So I know this type of topic isn't very sexy, but we promise to make it fun. We promise to make it engaging. And please, any questions that you guys have, please feel free to drop that in the chat and we'll answer it as we go along. So, meantime, I'm joining with Booksy. Booksy is the leading software booking tool in the beauty space for operational management, so managing how your clients book with you in real time. It is a marketing tool as well, allowing you to communicate with your clients via email, text, as well as the payment solution. So how you accept payment from your clients, whether it be deposits, whether it be no-show protection, or ultimately just paying for your services, as well as tracking that revenue and keeping you in tip-top shape. So without further ado, I know you guys came to come and see Mr. Official and you guys came to come and see Joe. So I'll stop talking, but I did want to do a quick mic handover to Mr. Official, who needs no introduction, but he is an official Booksy Ambassador, level 3 in Babyliss, educator, and a multiple business owner. So Yahya will be talking about, everything business from, like I said, multifaceted business types. So Yahya, I'll turn it over to you to give an intro. And before you go ahead, I will say, if you guys aren't following Mr. Official on social media, what are you guys doing? Second, I will be dropping all of those handles in the chat so you guys can follow Mr. Official as well as his other business pages as well. So, Yahya, over to you.
Thank you so much, Taz. What's going on, Joe? Pleasure to be here on this Monday, and thank you everyone that's joining us. And obviously, Mondays are usually mellow days in the barber and beauty world. People are usually off, or light. It's a light day in the shop or salon. So we wanted to take advantage of this day and bring and talk about a lot of beneficial things that are around this time of year. Taxes being one, Joe touching on insurance, and obviously Booksy, right? How to, some of the points that Taz made, how to work more efficiently and how to, kind of work smarter and not harder, right? So that way you can enjoy your Mondays and have more time to do things like this. My name is Yahya Jabed, like Taz said. I hear it all, yahi, yuhu, yaha. So, I break it up into three syllables, yahiya. So that's kind of like the easiest way to pronounce it if you don't have the native tongue. I have been a barber for going on 20 years. We opened up our shop in 2004, so we're nearing our 2 decade mark, next year. So we're excited. I'm excited about that. We just actually, it's been almost 2 years here at Official Cuts Academy. I'm here at the Barber College, so now we are educating and preparing future professionals to the best of our abilities, all the knowledge that we've gained, all the tools that Booksy provides, like she mentioned, level 3 and Babyliss Pro, all the information that we've got acquired over the past 2 decades, we like to share and incorporate here at the school. We do dabble in antiques. I love the history of barbering. I'm knee deep in barbering. So, my motto is you don't know where you're going if you don't know where you came from. So, you definitely have to stay in tune with your roots. And barbering has such a rich history, one of the oldest, if not the oldest profession in the world. I'm excited to be a part of it, contribute to it. And we're here to share knowledge on some of the business aspects of it, versus, a lot of people are more knowledgeable and hands on behind the chair. But when it comes time to taxes and it comes time to cut Uncle Sam his dues, a lot of us are trying to duck and dodge, and you don't want him knocking on the door. So we're gonna get into that a little more deeper and in detail on how to go about doing so if you're new to it, And also, if you're somebody that's been filing, we're going to talk about how to get some deductions and take advantage of some of the, you know, breaks that you can get from taxes. So that's what I'll be covering in my segment. And I'm going to pass it back to Taz. And, you know, I know she's going to introduce the man to the man, Joe.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Official. That was an absolute spot on introduction. May I just add, the OG in the barbering community, that beard work, you can recognize it from a mile. And without
Thank
further ado, Joe from Elite Beauty, who'll be dropping all the knowledge of, like I mentioned, the non negotiable insurance when it comes to beauty pros. This one is often skipped, but Joe, I will pass the mic over to you to tell us what we'll be discussing today.
Well, thank you, Taz, and thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity to connect with your audience. We always appreciate any opportunity we can get to to speak to the community, field questions, and of course provide any insight that that we may have on the needed protections you need for your business, or how to build your audience, things of that nature. And again, Mr. O, thank you so much for also joining this. Really excited to get the opportunity to collaborate with you, and looking forward to more opportunities in the future for that. So my name is Joe Fagan. I'm the Director of Strategic Partnerships for both Elite Beauty Society as well as the National Association of Barbers. And I want to mention the National Association of Barbers here, of course, because Mr. O is a pillar within the barber community. And shame on me if I didn't mention that we were also ran the National Association of Barbers. Now, both programs, both Elite Beauty Society and the National Association of Barbers, are programs. At the core of those programs, they're designed to provide the necessary liability insurance needed by beauty and barber professionals. Those are the programs we offer. Those are the programs we run. Those are the problems we solve. However, we go so much further within the programs that we run to include additional employee benefits, member benefits, products and tools and information to help grow your audience, to grow your business, to do your business right, to protect yourself. And so wanted to discuss some of those things today. And some of the points that I'll be making, or just at least discussing with the community, is a better general understanding on liability insurance. Why do you need it? Kind of what do you need? What are the right questions to ask? What products are out there? How do I find them? And which ones are more suited for me? And of course, we run programs, but I'm going to talk more of a global understanding on what you need to make sure your business is protected. We would be delighted to earn your business throughout the course of this, but for the most part, what we just do encourage is, if you aren't covered currently, to make sure you're looking into what that means to you, and hopefully you can kind of take that step to protect your business. It is a big and important step, because we see it all the time. And I hate talking about this, because nobody likes to talk about some of these the things that could occur. But every day we do see claims come in, 5-figure, 6-figure claims. Sometimes they could be career altering or life-changing claims. And if you didn't have that liability insurance, it could really, really hurt your career. So again, thank you for the thank you for the platform, and really excited to kind of to have some dialogue, and again, field some questions.
Absolutely, absolutely. Wonderfully said, Jed. And this just being an intro gives us insight into how jam-packed today's session is. So please, guys, regardless of wherever you are in your business journey, whether you're starting out, whether you are established, or whether you are bossing up and opening up a new location, a new business venture, this one is for you. So please do ask any questions that you have, despite the topic. It is a full business health check. So anything business, drop it in the chat. I'll give a quick intro, like I mentioned, about Booksy, what we do, and sort of how this can also help you when it does come to tax season. It is tax season, guys. I know everybody gets very anxious around this time of year. But with Booksy, like I mentioned, a full payment solution where we are able to track all of your incoming revenue. It is a full detailed summary report that you can just download at the end of every business year, at the end of fiscal year, that you do have in your pocket. It streamlines all of your revenue coming in. It streamlines the payments that you do take for services. It streamlines your deposits. Like I mentioned earlier, the no-show protection. If somebody doesn't show up for their appointment, you still collect that money. It tracks all of that for you. So at the end of the day, you're not swarming around looking for your revenue allocations and sort of where to find that. It just keeps everything in the app. So super, super easy. I see Salisha in the chat saying she loves Booksy, and I know revenue. I know Salisha personally. She uses the revenue feature quite often. So, just a testament to sort of how Booksy can streamline your business from, like I mentioned, from marketing down to the revenue and just keeping you in check for your business health check. So let's turn it over to, and I actually I wanna have Mr. Official kick this one off simply because, like I mentioned, from the multifaceted business and having different angles. First off, how do you prepare for this season?
Well, thank you for touching on some of the features of Booksy. And I know I did my introduction, Joe got his, and you kind of just jumped right into to what it is that you do. But I want to also just highlight anybody here that doesn't know who Taz is. Tasneem, she is like a powerhouse. She's like 10 people in one. Just kind of, from operations to putting things like this together. Making things like this available for people that are not as knowledgeable in this aspect of business. So thank you.
Okay. We lost Mr. Official for a second there. I do think it is a connection issue, but he'll probably be back in a couple of seconds. But that was wonderful to hear. I mean, at the crux of Booksy and all, we would love to provide education where we need it, providing you the business education. Of course, education is easily available. When we check on the net, when we check on YouTube, this information is easily available. But speaking to somebody who's obviously gone through the rains, gone through the work, so slaying through the mud of getting their business to where it needs to be, I want you guys to hear it from the man himself. And we have Mr. Official back. So
sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I just got the boot. I think again, just thank you for everything that you do, and again, so we can get right into it. So some of the things, obviously, people, if you're unaware of what taxes are, everybody knows what taxes. We pay tax. So you go buy something, you're paying tax. There's all different types of taxes. There's retail tax, sales tax, property tax, income tax. So there's all types of taxes, and taxes are like, there's not any type of tax that anybody likes. But, the more you're knowledgeable in taxes, the more you can work it towards your benefit, right? To lighten the load, essentially, right? You want to use it and incorporate different types of discounts and deductions that you may be eligible for, whether you're a student, whether you're a business owner, regardless of, what it is that you do, there's different types of deductions that you may be eligible, right, for. So for me, pertaining to business, because we're talking about business, right? So income tax, some of the way I prepare for my taxes is you have to have one isolated individual space to just kind of collect documents, right? So whether that be, if you have a home office or an actual office, that's great. Right? If you don't, then you need an area, a drawer somewhere where you can just kind of compile all your paperwork, your documents, your bills, your expenses, everything that you spend on a day-to-day, whether it's personal, you have an individual file and location for personal items that you may buy yourself something, and then obviously anything associated with business. So any type of business expenses, whether, again, my students here, if they're buying tools for school, books, investing in education, their actual education at school, everything, is deductible at the end of the year when you file your taxes. So just being knowledgeable of what it is and what bracket you're in, depending on what it is that you're doing, and keeping all your documents. To me, what helps me out a lot is having a spreadsheet, right? So every month creating a spreadsheet. When I have my utilities come in, for example, your monthly expenses that are coming, your gas bill, your electric bill, your internet bill, phone bill, insurance, like my man Joe was talking about, right? You can't dodge insurance, right? Because, it's so important. So all these expenses that you have that are reoccurring monthly, quarterly, regardless of when they're coming in, you have to have a spreadsheet, and then you enter the amount in, okay? So you spread it. Your spreadsheet should consist of all 12 months, starting from January to December, and you just itemize all your individual tabs for your expenses. And you just simply log them in. Another way to do it would be to just take a picture of whatever it is your bill is and create a folder in your phone. If you're on the go and you know it's something that you really don't have access, you don't have an office, you don't have a computer, you don't really not too savvy to create a spreadsheet, just take a picture and have a folder for utilities, have a folder for expenses, create different folders on your phone. So that way, at the end of the year, what you're doing is simply printing out your spreadsheet, right? That will have all your itemized expenses. And if you're doing it yourself, if your taxes are more simple, where you feel like, okay, this is something that I can handle, everything is pretty much cut and dry. I have my income. This is how much I made, right? These are my expenses, and this is what my net, because you have gross and net, what your net profit is, then you can claim your taxes based off those numbers. If you have a lot going on, like for example, with me, if it's the shops and the school, my personal, and the different things that I have going on, I would definitely recommend that you seek a professional, hire a CPA, a certified accountant, somebody that can help you out, so that way you ensure that first of all your numbers are correct. Make sure that your taxes are filed correctly. Your deductions, you're taking care of all. You're taking advantage of all your deductions because your CPA would be able to advise you on what deductions you qualify for, what deductions that you can incorporate to help lower that tax bill. So those are some of the things that I would recommend on how to start. So definitely have an isolated place for your bills, your utilities, your expenses, and also obviously with Booksy, right? Because to me, what simplified everything for me as far as cutting hair and when I'm working behind the chair is Booksy. Simply all I have to do is go to the feature. It'll tell me exactly what I'm making daily, weekly, annually. You just print it out and you just turn that right over to your CPA, and it's going to have everything that you made already at a click of a button. So Booksy will take care of that for you as far as the hair cutting goes. So incorporate the spreadsheet and take advantage of these awesome features Booksy has.
Wonderful. Edward actually, as you started talking about spreadsheets, Edward put it in the chat, is like some sort of spreadsheet is what he's receiving. And then you mentioned spreadsheets. So alongside Booksy's reporting structure, are there any particular spreadsheets that you use to pass over to your CPA, or is it just an Excel spreadsheet that you manually keep track of?
I personally have just a regular Excel spreadsheet, and I should have clarified that. I mean, there are so many different types of spreadsheets that you can even have templates that you can Google, or even apps. There are apps on your phone that have spreadsheets. But to me, I use a simple Excel spreadsheet because I have a lot of different things that I factor in versus just my quote unquote utilities and essentials. So I have a longer spreadsheet, and I like to keep it very simple. So definitely, there's no particular or right or wrong spreadsheet, just as long as it's something that's going to help you, kind of keep everything nice and neat and organized. So you definitely want to be organized.
Love that. No, absolutely. Organization is definitely key. And then as you sort of track this, throughout the year or month by month, are there any specific preparations when it does come to tax time specifically, before you hand over to your CPA? What is that mental preparation for tax season, even mental preparation, not necessarily, documentation? What does that look like for you? Because I know, like I mentioned, multiple businesses, multiple tax, different types of taxes that you have to incur.
Well, definitely a great point. I mean, mentally, it just sucks. There's no other word for it, because especially if you're somebody that's balancing and managing your own finances, which most barbers, stylists are, right? A lot of us, there's still a lot of businesses out here that still are only cash only businesses. So you're getting 100% of everything, 100% of your profits. You have to claim your income. You have to do all your numbers on your own. And to me, I don't wait till the end of the year to do my taxes, just because you're gonna get hit hard, one shot. So I strongly recommend that you get into a quarterly system structure with your CPA, or if you're doing it on your own, do it every 3 months. So that way you're kind of managing everything, you're getting into the rhythm, and then when you're closing out the year, you're doing it for the final quarter. So there are 4 quarters in a year. of course, and you want to just basically, just do them every 3 months, and that will help lighten the load.
Love it. Love it. So you guys heard, don't do it all in one go. Rather break it up, make it in bite-sized pieces, and then, you sort of just winning continuously, and you get better and better at it every single time.
It makes it a little more doable.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's check if there is. So, Mr. Official, some of them do say they are having a hard time hearing you. It's muffled. It does sound okay to me. So if you guys are still having any audio issues, please drop that in the chat. But some of them are saying it's good. Some saying that they can hear fine.
Okay, I'll readjust my phone a little bit. Let me see if that'll help.
That's lovely. Yes.
Okay, great. All right.
So much better. So you just dropped the gem of, doing your taxes in bite-sized pieces every quarter, every 3 months, and submitting that, working with your resources as well. And then that definitely ties up, back to Booksy's revenue reporting structure. Like you mentioned, it's fully detailed. Everything that is coming into the shop, that is coming into the academy, is fully trackable, and it's a one-stop shop for you to just have everything in one place. And then you add it to your spreadsheet. So wonderful. And then just in terms of, Booksy's revenue, not just only for tax purposes, like Mr. Official mentioned, it is every quarter. Now, of course, like I mentioned, wherever you are in your business, if you are starting out, if you are established, if you are taking your business to the next level, the reporting structure inside of Booksy, besides the revenue tracking, one of the very, very cool things about it, as you are progressing in your business journey, Booksy forecasts your revenue. So it can help you prepare for what is coming, as well as help you fill in the blanks. So what happens is, to give you guys down a breakdown of sort of how the revenue reporting works, not only for revenue track, but for revenue forecasted, it will take into account the appointments that you have coming up, and also forecast the revenue that you are predicting for that particular month, for that particular quarter. So one benefit of that, like I mentioned, if you're forecasting and you have that particular goal to hit at the end of the week, at the end of the month, or at the end of the quarter, there's obviously the marketing tools as well that you can then rope in and do right back at it, a full business health check to say where you're missing the gaps, what promotions you can put out in order to fill empty spots in your schedule, and then thereafter hit your business goals. So we will come back to tax, but while the topic is still hot, while everybody's still engaged, I do want to touch on insurance. So Joe, I, as well as everybody in the chat, I'm sure everybody who has joined us today is really, really interested about business insurance in the beauty space. So please, over to you, Joe.
Fantastic. And, as I always say, whenever I'm thinking about barbering, whenever I'm thinking about cosmetology, the first and most important, sexiest topic I can think of is insurance. So I can understand why everybody is fully has their attention on this one. No, of course, that's a joke. I mean, obviously, what we find in this industry is in a very general sense, folks put so much time, effort, and attention into their practice, into their artistry, into becoming great at what they do. And that is exactly where their time should be spent. So it's nice for some of the folks who may need have a little bit of a gap in helping to not only protect their business, but to build their business and be successful at growing their business. It's really nice to be able to have dialogue like this that may assist some folks who, again, have spent all their time and effort in building their craft. Now, it'd be nice to make a little bit of money with their craft. So again, thank you for the platform here. Now, in terms of insurance, insurance and taxes, again, two very sexy topics here, but the things that I feel like at least are important to talk about when you're talking about liability insurance is really, what do you need to protect your business? And, you see, especially in the barber space, there's still a huge lack of education. Doesn't sound like the right terminology here, but what I mean is there's a lack of an awareness in a lot of cases on the need for liability insurance. We saw over, in the early 2000s in the massage space, all of the major franchises started to require that the therapists carry liability insurance to work there. And then fast forward about 5 to 10 years later, the beauty space really started to take off in that same direction. So if you wanted to rent a chair at a salon, you'd be required to carry liability insurance, or even work as a commissioned cosmetologist within a salon. And nowadays, of course, with the boom of salon suite rentals, In most cases in the salon suite market, they're going to require you to carry liability insurance and some additional insurance if you want to rent a space from them. So what do you need as a barber or beauty professional in terms of insurance? Well, the two main components are professional liability insurance and general liability insurance. Those are the big ones. So professional liability is like the malpractice insurance. So if somebody got hurt due to the barber or the beauty professional's negligence, and maybe you slice somebody's ear or something of that nature, and they decided to sue you.
Whoa. No,
right, exactly. I use that example all the time, and it's such a rare occurrence, but those are the types of things that do happen. The interesting thing about insurance is 99% of people will buy insurance and they'll never use it. And that's a good thing. You don't ever want to have to use your insurance, but it's that 1%, it's that life-altering event that we see all the time that we're here, and we're delighted to be able to help to protect folks. But anyway, back to it. So you need professional liability insurance. That's if an issue occurs due to your negligence. The other main component that they need is general liability insurance. And that's what a lot of people call the trip and fall insurance. So if, for instance, maybe a leak was coming off the roof and your client slipped and fell and hit their head, that would fall under general liability. It's not due to your negligence. It's due to something kind of that's out of your control. One of the beautiful things one of the things that we see a lot more claims come in for general liability than professional liability. And to me, that tells a wonderful story. That means the folks that they're not hurting, our beauty and barber professionals, they're not making mistakes, they're not hurting people, but it is really hard to foresee that freak accident, that water that is falling off the ceiling, and that freak accident that could occur. So two important components. Some other components that are becoming important, especially with the salon suite model, are rental damage insurance. If you rent a space, whether it's the salon suite or just a studio or whatever it might be, there in almost every case, that landlord is going to require you carry rental damage insurance. Our program comes with $100,000 worth of rental damage insurance just included. Another earmarked component, which we find meaningful, is product insurance. So if you're using products within the scope of your practice, whether that's products you put on somebody's hair or skin, or even an instrument that you might use, product liability becomes very important. We earmark specifically $2 million of product coverage as a part of our offering. So if that product causes a burn or an allergic reaction or some type of injury, that's covered specifically up to $2 million. And just to mention, the professional and general liability in our program is also covered up to $2 million per occurrence, or up to $3 million annually. So with professional liability, general liability, product liability, and now rental damage insurance, you have a pretty strong scope of coverage for everything that you might need. Now, our program includes two other components, and some other programs out there do as well, but we found them to be very important. One being stolen or damaged equipment insurance. So if you have $1,000 shears, or even if you use an iPad or iPod or whatever it might be throughout the scope of practice, if that gets damaged or stolen, our program offers at least $1,000 worth of coverage for that. You may have some more expensive equipment, in which case you might want to go to a local agent and get some additional gap coverage for that. But our program includes the first $1,000 automatically. And then finally, ours includes also $25,000 of identity theft. And the reason we did that is we found, as folks were going through their cosmetology or barber licensing program, once they became licensed, they became susceptible to cyber attacks because now they're a part of a bigger database. So that has become another component that our customers have found very, very meaningful. So the first thing that I want to just instill upon you is—
I'm gonna have to add that one, Joe. I'm gonna have to add that one. I don't have that one. I never heard of that one. That was a gem.
Yeah, that's, it wasn't really something that was on our radar when we first started the program, but then it was in the massage space, because massage also has a licensing component to it too. Folks were just getting hit left and right. So we started adding that. And now we see, as we started offering this in the beauty and the barber space, same thing. A lot of folks, once they get through that licensing, are getting hit. So it's really nice to have. Ours includes $25,000 of that protection. So it's a good component.
That's an added layer, even if just for a safety blanket. That's just a plus right there, because that is happening a lot more often. So yeah, that's great. All great information.
It really is. And nowadays, now that, we've kind of come full circle and evolved within this space, all of those things that I just mentioned, they're all covered for less than $200 for a full year. Millions of dollars worth of coverage, all for less than $200 for a year. In fact, we even have a unique discount that we offer to anybody within the Booksy reach. And you can maybe find those in the chat, but you can find it at elitebeautyins.com/BooksyBeauty, or if you're a barber, nationalbarbers.org/Booksy NAOB. I'm pretty sure Tasneem is going to put those, is going to be putting those links there. But again, I'm not necessarily here to talk specifically or kind of sell you on our product. I want you to have an understanding on what you might need, and then take this information and go to look at, scope out different product programs within the space. We might be the best fit for you. We might not be, but please call us and ask us questions, because we're delighted to let you know or answer any questions you have and put you in a different direction if we're not the right fit for you.
Absolutely. Joe, so you did make mention that this is the sexy part of the conversation, but there's lots of questions happening in the chat about insurance. Testament to, like you mentioned, just that lack of awareness in terms of what insurance actually covers. So I'll start off with Edward, who says, insurance scares me. I'm sure. Do you want to touch on, the ease of actually getting insurance with Elite Beauty?
I do, but Edward, you're not alone there. In fact, I'll be honest, insurance is one of those things a lot of people are scared of or sketched out by. And, on one hand, you're buying a product that you hope you never use, which is a weird psychological thing that you're doing anyway. And then secondly, when you do need the insurance, there's always that fear in the back of your mind that the insurance company is going to fight you, that they're going to try to deny your claim when you need them the most. And, those are real fears, because those types of things happen in the real world, as we probably have all experienced. We as a program go to great lengths to make sure that we are not denying any reasonable or relevant claims. In fact, we are known, the only claims that I understand that we've ever denied has been when somebody has lied on their application. They either weren't a licensed cosmetologist or they somehow misrepresented what they do, and which is a huge no-no, by the way. Don't ever lie to an insurance company. They will find, they will come back to haunt you, but we do, and we are known to pay all the claims. But you're right, Edward. A lot of people have that same feeling. We, again, go to great lengths to also kind of offset some of that fear in several ways. Number one, we make it extremely easy to enroll. It can literally take you less than 3 minutes. You don't even have to speak to a human. And as I mentioned, it's less than $200. A lot of companies will require you to carry it. So on one hand, it fulfills that need, that requirement. On the other hand, even if it's not required of you, this program will follow you anywhere you work as long as you're in the U.S. So if you're renting a suite or you do some side work from home, or you go rent a chair while you're traveling, our program is automatically going to follow you anywhere. So you're covered for any incident that might occur. So that's, an important component of it. But, again, I recommend asking questions and learning as anything you can about the different insurance companies out there, and ask them if they, what kind of claims that they have paid and what kind of claims that they have denied, because, you want clarity in this space. It's important.
I want to throw in just 2 cents on there, just my 2 cents, because I gotta throw in the comments. So to me, like, not having insurance scares me. So just kind of keep that in mind. Like, if insurance scares you, like, not having insurance is where you'll get in trouble. Like, that's where you should be scared, because you're kind of like, you're tiptoeing, right? You're on eggshells. You're hoping nothing happens, and unfortunately, that's not the case all the time. I mean, things happen, all the things that Joe, you mentioned. I mean, in my 20 years of business, I mean, we've had people slip and fall, inside, outside the shop. We're in Chicago, so we're exposed to all the elements. We've had a couple people get allergic reactions to color applications and things like that, and insurance has always bailed us out, so obviously it's what it's in place for. So, I mean, from a business perspective, I 100% agree and coincide with what Joe's saying. And these, again, over the 2 decades that I've been in business, we've experienced a lot of the things that you're talking about. So insurance is definitely a safety blanket. And to me, I would close if I had an insurance lap. Let me tell you how serious it is. If I had an insurance lap for whatever reason, just say I had, my insurance is on auto pay and my credit card expired and there was a lapse in my insurance, I'm closing my doors until that's, sorted out. I'm not doing business without insurance, because guess what? If you don't have insurance, then, they can go after you, your corporation, your personal, if you're a sole proprietor, if you're working for yourself, if you're, you're just kind of, they can go after your assets, your car, your home, your, garnish your, like it gets ugly. So just think of like insurance as your security guard. So, don't be scared of insurance. Be scared to not have insurance.
That's an excellent point. And just to jump on that, thank you for mentioning that. That is a great way to put it. And, some of the worst, some of the worst stories that we hear are of folks that have gotten injured sitting in a chair, and they've been, clients that somebody's had for 20, 30 years, somebody that you would never have thought in a million years would ever sue you. But then again, an incident occurs, nothing happens for several weeks, maybe several months. And then next thing you know, you have a letter from a lawyer sitting. Eric Taylor from Salon Republic told me this really nightmarish story about somebody. Again, it was somebody who was in their chair for 20 years. And, friends, they went out on the weekends and an incident occurred, and several months later got hit with a huge 6-figure claim. And luckily it was covered with liability insurance to protect them from that. So you're right. Not having insurance is the scarier of the two.
For sure.
Joe, I have a very interesting question in the chat here from Hadil. He says, if a client got hurt by another professional at the same facility, would they go through my insurance or through the other party's insurance? Hadil, I assume that you are the owner of the facility.
That's an excellent question. And so let me break it down here. Our program, like other programs in the space, ours is designed to cover a single individual's liability. And then typically the studio owner, the owner of the studio or salon, is going to have a business owner's policy as well. And those are typically more expensive. And there's different laws and regulations within every state, but there's going to be some additional components that are necessary, like workman's comp and things like that, especially if you have W-2 employees. So the way it would typically work, Hadil, is if an incident occurred, one of your beauty professionals, there was an incident, and the client decided to sue. Typically, they decide to sue the beauty professional as well as the business. So your business will probably get a suit as well. So here's what I recommend. Make sure all of your professionals do carry liability insurance. Make sure they also add your business as an additional insured. You can't add another individual, but you can add a location you're renting from or a business you're working at as an additional insured. And what that's going to do is that's going to put the pressure on the individual's policy before it goes to the business owner's policy. It takes pressure off of you as a business owner, off of your liability insurance policy, because it's going to hit theirs first. So an incident occurs, they decide to sue the professional, they sue you. The beauty professional's policy, the one that they got from us or a similar program, would be the first one that covered the claim. So as long as there's enough money, which ours has up to $2 million per occurrence, $3 million per year, we've never seen any claims come in anywhere near that. But it is a level that covers all of the requirements that we've seen in all 50 states. Let it hit that policy first. That way, again, it's offsets. It doesn't add additional cost to you. Not to mention is if you go to renew your business owner's policy every year and you have dialogue that every single one of your professionals already has their own liability insurance, that should also lower the cost of your business owner's policy. So it's a win-win really for the business owner to make sure all of that occurs. I hope that answered your question, and be delighted for further dialogue if that doesn't.
Very nice. We have some really, really good questions, but before we move on to the next question, I do want to drop, as Joe mentioned, as a Booksy provider, we do have a special treat for you today with Elite Beauty. There is a discount on your insurance, $20 off your insurance. Please do click on the link that I just dropped in the chat for information about how you can get that discounted price. Joe, you ready for the next question?
I am indeed.
So Salisha has a question. She says, what kind of insurance is needed for those of us who sell our own products? Would that be product liability? And if so, does your company have that type of insurance?
So it really depends on if you're talking about manufacturing your own products, that you're going to need to go to a local agent and get some type of additional product coverage, because there's a manufacturing type of there's a coverage for manufacturers. And really what insurance companies want when they're laying out insurance for these types of programs is they want to be able to, if they're paying out the claim, if an incident occurs and they're paying out a claim based on that, they want to be able in some cases to recoup that money from either the manufacturer or somebody involved in that process. So they'll pay out the claim directly to the individual, and then they'll go after the manufacturer to say, hey, this was the incident, it's kind of your fault. Let's work out a deal so that we can offset some of this claim that we paid. So where I'm going with this is, while our program and a normal product coverage like that would cover the incident if you were using somebody else's manufactured product, if you are manufacturing your own product, you're going to need some additional insurance. And I would recommend connecting with a local agent to understand what that looks like.
Absolutely. Hadi also dropped in the chat saying he did not expect you to say less than $200. That is amazing. And I absolutely agree with you, Hadil.
Crazy.
Let's see if there are any other questions. Hadil, also, if you are a Booksy provider, please do click on that link to check our special discount that we have running for our Elite Beauty partnership. Gustavo has a question, and maybe this is for Joe as well as you, Mr. Official. Should we get insurance while we are in barber school?
I do have an answer, and I'll be delighted to hear what he has to say as well. So we actually built a program specifically for this. When we originally built it, we built it because we understood some students needed insurance while they were still in school. Maybe they were doing an externship or an internship, doing some hands-on work that was a little risky. So we went to our underwriters and we built a program that basically was a coverage for students while they're still in school. What we found out, though, is that students really only typically needed it for the last maybe month or two that they were going through their schooling and their licensing. So we went back to the underwriters and we asked them if we could still offer this program to students, but allow it to convert to a professional policy once they graduated, to allow that full year of coverage to occur. And they said yes. So as a result, if you are still a student, if you still have not been licensed yet, highly recommend you do pick up liability insurance at our student level. And if you do need it for the last couple of months, it will cover you while you're in school. Even if you don't need it for the last couple of months, let's say there's no risk there, the school has you covered, highly recommend you still enroll maybe the day before you graduate, the day before you get licensed. And that way you can enroll at this reduced rate, which in most cases is around $49, the very reduced rate. And then that'll be that'll effectively convert to your first full year of liability insurance. We're actually encouraging you to game the system, if you will. Enroll in our program right before you graduate to take advantage of that student discount. But I will say, if you are doing any hands-on work, if you're doing any haircutting, if you're working on people, highly recommend you buy that student program kind of prior to that, just in case something does occur.
Wow. So yeah, we got you covered here at Official Cuts Academy, but I mean, at $49, see, that I didn't know, and that's something that Joe, me and you will, I'll reach out and we can, that'll be something that I'd love to honestly even incorporate into their part of the enrollment here, for $49 to be able to offer that to the students for a year, and then they can continue after that. I would love to just incorporate that into our into the school, so definitely we'll touch on that. But to answer your question, I didn't even know that was a possibility or a necessity. When I went to school, we didn't have insurance. We didn't need it. So the same here. My policy is structured differently for the school. It's astronomical. It's the most expensive insurance policy I've ever pulled for the school because of so many different liabilities. So the students are all covered, as long as obviously we have guidelines, capacity, and things like that. Are all met. But definitely all the students here at the school are covered. But, I, like you said, I think it's amazing to take advantage of that, 75% off already cheap rate. $200 is still, you're giving it away for annually. I mean, that doesn't even break down to, $20 a month. It's like, $15 to $17 a month you're paying for insurance to get over $3 million of coverage. But, to incorporate that for $49, it's a no-brainer. So definitely, it's just like Booksy. It's a no-brainer, right? So there are some things in life that are no-brainers. That is one. Booksy is another. So, we're definitely going to be incorporating these things, and make sure you guys are taking advantage. So if you're here, you're getting put on to a lot of gems.
Absolutely. If you're not on Booksy, I am going to drop a link where you are able to download Booksy, and there is a free trial attached to the download. So please do check it out if you have not downloaded Booksy already. As we are nearing towards the end of this conversation, there are just two more conversations in the chat that I want to clear out before we sort of wrap up here. Edward says, in the same vein, Joe, that we talked about, somebody working at a shop, he has a question about, does somebody with an LLC or corp working under another business need their own insurance?
Typically, yes. What we find is, well, if you're a sole proprietor that you've built an LLC, it's number one, that's always a good idea because that affords you additional protections that, to separate your business from your personal assets. So highly recommend that. I know we hadn't go into a deep dive on that today, but I encourage everybody to do that because you do want to separate those in the event that something occurs that could potentially garnish your personal wages. You just don't want that to happen. And the answer is typically yes. And if you're a sole proprietor that's built an LLC, you're probably eligible for our program or a program like ours designed for the individual, which again, instead of talking about $1,000 worth of coverage, we're talking about a program that offers coverage for less than $200. So my answer is a resounding yes.
Absolutely. Hadil has a quick scenario that maybe some people wouldn't think of, but it's definitely something to put into perspective. He says the owner of the shop that he rents a room at has a shop dog. The bathroom is outside that he rents. The client left and rented this and went outside to use the bathroom on the other side, and the dog bit him. What would that look like? Would that fall under insurance? Would that not outside of the facility?
I'll be honest. This one's this is a tough one for me. I don't know the answer to that. I'd really like to run this by our agent team, this unique scenario, to get an insight on somebody licensed could kind of tell me what that scenario would look like. And I would think off the top of my head, I am a 220 licensed agent, but I don't work as closely to some of this that our agents do. In my opinion, it would seem to me it would go under the shop owner who owns that dog. It would probably hit their policy first. But what I can do at the conclusion of this is I can run this exact scenario by our agent team. And Tasneem, I don't know if we have a way to communicate to all the folks on here. I'd love to get that answer and provide a detailed insight on at least what our agent team believes the scenario would look like.
Wonderful. Absolutely. I think it's a topic of intrigue as well. I think we'd all love to know in a scenario like that, what would happen. Mr. Official Benjamin says, "What's up?" And for Clifton, yes, the recording will be available right after. You will be emailed the recording. As we're nearing the hour, I want to do something fun that I did not prep Mr. Official or Joe for. I want to do a giveaway to some of our participants. And I want to do two, but Mr. Official and Joe, I'm going to put you guys on the spot. I want you to ask, each of you, to ask an attendee, if they have been listening and paying attention, a question. And the first correct answer wins a Booksy prize. We'll make up the bundle. We'll send you a hoodie, a sweatshirt, a sling bag, all on us. So who wants to go first with their question?
I'll go first. All right. So my question is going to be, this is a good one. So Booksy bags are always fun too. I mean, you mentioned a lot of goodies. Hold on, let me. I got one of the Booksy T-shirts on right now. We gotta. Show the hoodies are awesome. Usually they're champion hoodies. They're really good hoodies. The bags and all that. So I love getting the Booksy goodies. So let's see who's gonna win. So we have to ask a question. Who's been paying attention? We covered a lot. So I'm going to say, we're going to make it a Booksy question. How can Booksy help you in preparation for your taxes? What is the feature that we discussed that will help you prepare for your taxes this upcoming April 15th? So first person to drop the answer on that will win the goodie bag.
So many of them typing. Let's see.
Let's see who's going to drop that.
Okay. Edward says all info is available with transactions. We may be looking for something more specific, Edward. Let's see.
That was close.
That was close.
Edward, type. You're a fast typer. Let's see. Edward's he's been very active, so let's see if he can rewrite that. A little more detail. Look, he's typing now. Let's see.
Okay.
Edward forgot.
Orlando says organizing all expenses. Not quite. It is typing. We'll give it a couple more seconds. Whoever gets the first answer or the correct answer wins. Okay, Gustavo, organized of cuts you've done.
Okay. I'll let you choose which one you feel like is sufficient because
Actually,
which one to answer do you like? Or should I drop another question?
3, 2, 1, and I'm going to cut that off there. I will say Edward wins this round. He says all info is available with transactions. Absolutely correct, but also more information in terms of your incoming revenue, how you track it, how you are getting paid via your services, via your deposits, via your no-show protection. All of that is tracked via Booksy reporting. Okay,
awesome.
So Edward,
and I was just gonna say, Edward, like to me, if there was a giveaway that I was gonna do outside of the question, just based on his engagement and all the questions that he's been asking, I would have threw it his way too. So congratulations to Edward. Congratulations on the bag.
Wonderful. Edward, I'll grab your information right after this call. And then Joe, question. This one's going to be juicy. I know it.
Oh, yeah. What part?
I don't know if it's going to be juicy, but I did mention the two main components of liability insurance that are necessary in this space. One of them I kind of referenced that we call trip and fall insurance, and the other one is due to negligence. What are the names of those two types of liability insurance?
Good one. All right, let's see.
Orlando came in saying,
He got one, and he got the second.
Professional.
There you go.
Legal liability.
Shout out to Orlando.
Orlando Camper, you are our second winner. That was so much fun. You guys definitely do take the cake. You guys have been engaged. You guys have been asking the right questions. And James, yes, they are quick. So congratulations to both of you. I'll grab your details right after this call, just so that I can get that shipped off to you. This was wonderful.
I do want to say that Orlando is the newest student here at Official Cuts Academy. So congratulations. He just started, off to a hot start.
Yes.
You got a sharp one there.
Mm-hmm.
No pun intended. Sharp.
I love it. Brownie points, brownie.
We have insurance for it.
I love that. Awesome. So in true Booksy since we are talking about a full business health check, there is also an opportunity for you to create passive income with Booksy. We have an awesome referral program where you are able to refer your business beauty pros, your friends in the industry who are interested to taking their business to the next level with Booksy, bossing up, should I say. When you do refer a friend to Booksy as an active Booksy subscriber, you get $25 and the person you referred gets $25 as well. Joe?
Nice.
Although you guys also have an affiliate program running, is that something that you do want to?
We do, yeah. I'd be delighted to have dialogue with anybody who is within the space who has a reach of barbers. There's several different ways that we can engage a partnership. Certainly, Mr. O, I want to have some additional dialogue with you about the student program in your school. But we can offer potentially unique discounts on our program. We have revenue share opportunities. We can do some cross marketing and promotion of each other's businesses. Lots of potential ways that we could work together. So please reach out to me if you have. And I see a question was asked about my email, which Tasneem, if you're okay, I'm delighted to share that with everybody. And I'll just jfagan@directtopolicyholder.com, JFAGAN at DIRECTTOPOLICY holder, HOLDBR.com. And yeah, would love to chat with anybody about that.
I will.
Joe, where are you based out of?
Jacksonville, Florida. Go Jaguars.
Oh, nice. I don't know about the Jaguars, but I mean, you're in the Sunshine State, so it's.
I know about the Jaguars, and you're right. It ain't an easy life being a Jaguars fan. But
no, it's not.
Future looks bright.
This was absolutely so insightful. I mean, all of the resources, all of the knowledge that you guys provided, testament to our chat completely popping off today. Just, people want to have this knowledge. It's imperative that we provide this knowledge. So, couldn't have done this without you guys. You guys have been so insightful in terms of the things that we often overlook, but the things that make us healthy in terms of a business and things that we need to pay close attention to and prepare for. So what I will do to all of the attendees today, right after the call, we will send the recording of this if anybody did miss any of it. I know there was a couple of questions. If you can catch the recording later, we'll send the recording out. I will send you guys Joe's information to contact for more questions. And then as well, there's a couple of Instagram handles for Mr. Official that I would love for you guys to follow, as well as Elite Beauty, and as well as our promotion that we currently have running with Elite Beauty for Booksy providers. If you guys have not downloaded Booksy yet, please do go ahead. And I'm going to do one more plug before we hop off this call. And I will turn it over to you guys to say your final goodbyes to our amazing participants.
Awesome. Well, I want to say thank you to everybody that, all the students. If you're if you're attending Official Cuts Academy, all the barbers, if you're, at the shops, and just anybody that supports, any of my supporters, anybody that supports Booksy, anybody that's chimed in to listen to Joe. Joe, thank you for all the information. I'm always a student, and that's one key that I would like to leave to everybody that's listening, is always remain humble, remain a student. Life is a learning process. You take it day by day, step by step, right? And again, there's always, today I picked up on so many new things that I'm going to be incorporating into the school, into my just day-to-day routine. Thank you to Taz for always continuing to elevate and, put together, these awesome Booksy events, sharing and bringing together so many different individuals and their niches, and sharing to the world what it is that we do regularly. And, so make sure you guys follow me, Mr. Official, on Instagram and all social media platforms, Official Cuts Academy, The Official Antiques. We keep it official. Thank you.
Oh, great. And yeah, I'll mirror Mr. Official's words there and just say a huge resounding thank you. Thank you, Tasneem, for this opportunity to engage. Thank you all for being here. Any opportunity we have to, engage with the community is so big for us. And, I look at an event like this, the folks that attend an event like this, where you're talking about taxes, you're talking about insurance, you're talking about building your business. These are the folks that really take their business seriously. And in my opinion, are probably going to be the most successful within the industry. A lot of people, again, take the time and effort and attention to build their craft, which is an extraordinarily important thing to do. Make sure you take the time, the same time and attention to build your business itself, to be successful within this space, because it is wonderful. This is a great, wonderful thing that we do, and we all enjoy it. But we also are here to support our families and make money. So make sure you protect your business. Keep attending things like this and do the things that it takes to be the most successful barber or beauty professional within your space. And, again, thank you for taking the time to listen to us spout out about taxes and insurance, the least sexy things in this industry. But, super important stuff, and just appreciate everybody. And thank you, Mr. Official.
My man.
Absolutely. Thank you both so much. A bunch of thank yous in our chat from Edward, from James, from Orlando, from Benjamin. Everybody's super, super grateful for the gems that we dropped today. So in closing, boss up with Booksy, boss up with business owner, multiple business owner, Mr. Official, and boss up with Elite Beauty Society. Guys, all of that information to follow. Congratulations to our 2 winners. And thank you all so much for joining us. This was wonderful. If you have any questions, please do reach us. You have our social media platforms. Do follow and reach us over there. And with that, thanks so much,
All
guys.
right, everybody.
Yeah.
Pleasure. Take care, everybody. All right, salute.